Yes, I've learned a lot. Among other things, I learned that there may be as many as 500,000 people in this country who legally own and register fully automatic machine guns, which have been banned basically, I thought, since 1934. Well, they weren't banned. They're strictly controlled. If you have one, you have to pay a relatively high fee to register it. You have to register it with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and you can't take it around with you. You can't move it. And you haven't seen any of those maybe 500,000 weapons turn up in a mass shooting anywhere. So that kind of regulation can be effective. It certainly was for fully automatic Tommy guns. That was a Prohibition era problem that was signed into law by Franklin Roosevelt. The restrictions on fully automatic weapons. I think I wasn't for a ban on, I didn't recommend one in my book on semi-automatic so-called assault rifles, because I think most people use those for target practice. And the argument there is, well, you know, if you limit it to 10 rounds in a magazine, you have to change magazines a lot. It's no fun anymore at the firing range. On the other hand, extended magazines figured in the mass shootings in which these weapons were used, in particular in Newtown. I think he had a magazine that held more than 30 rounds. He may not have fired all 30, but I remember in my Navy days in the Vietnam War, I was in the Navy and I spent a year in Saigon, and the Navy issued me a 45 pistol for self-defense. And in the Navy's wisdom, it gave me magazines for this that held, this is in a war zone during a war, 7 rounds. So when somebody like Senator Lindsey Graham says, well, you know, the housewife who's trying to fend off an armed robber is breaking through her window and she has her 2 kids in the kitchen, maybe 15 rounds isn't enough for her. And I think, well, if 7 rounds was enough in the Navy's view for me in a war, in the war zone, why is 15 rounds in South Carolina in peacetime not enough? And anyway, you know, most people don't know how to use weapons like that for self-defense, although the NRA says that's the main purpose of them. These magazines, by the way, can go into handguns as well as assault rifles. So I came to the view after I wrote the book that, you know, maybe some kind of control on the size of magazines for both handguns and assault rifles might make sense, even if a ban on assault rifles didn't. But it failed as well in the Senate. If it comes up again and it fails again, I don't think that's the end of the world. I think the most effective legislation that is being discussed right now is universal background checks. And secondly, creating for the first time a federal law that makes gun trafficking in illegal guns, you know, providing guns across state lines to people who legally can't buy them themselves, with a 15-year maximum jail sentence for violation. Those are things that would do a lot more to lessen the toll that gun violence takes in our country than a ban on assault rifles.